What is up, everybody? We are here
Yo.
with Melee'd on me. We've got Robin, Juggleguy. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up? I'm good.
And who else have we got here?
I don't know.
Is that you, Sheridan?
It could be.
It's like I see a cat. I don't see Sheridan.
I don't see Sheridan.
I'm simply a cat.
Okay.
Do you randomly disappear if somebody's observing
cat will
you?
prove very knowledgeable about Smash.
But if we look
Fair
at
enough.
you, will you disappear?
I don't think so.
Okay, you're not that special then. Alrighty. So we got not so much things to talk about today.
Well,
We should have a lot to talk about, but we don't because we're lazy. We don't
Tapo, that's not the way you intro the show.
make We got
You ever
plenty to
watch-
talk about.
Come
We
on,
haven't had
you
a
ever
show
watch-
in like a month, probably, because we're all lazy. I mean, busy. Yeah, we'll say
I
busy.
mean, Tafokints, you ever watch like Conan O'Brien come out at the beginning
Oh,
of his show,
He's the
or
best.
Stephen Colbert, or any of them?
Daniel, do a string
We got
dance
a
right
great
now.
show. You got a great show every night. Got
We
that?
do.
You understand?
Well,
Excellent.
Well, I
Excellent.
was
You
going.
gotta believe it. I want
Well,
you
what
to
I
believe
was
it right
going
now.
to say, Sheridan, was that despite the fact that we may not have a lot of material in and of itself, we are going to please the people here.
It's quality material. It's not quantity, okay? But we're
Yes.
gonna
Okay.
bring good stuff.
All right, but you know,
That's what he's saying.
you still gotta preface that by saying, "We got a great show tonight."
What
Excellent
are you
show.
talking about,
Excellent.
Sheridan? You cut me off. Why are you
No,
acting
no.
like close right now?
Oh wow. Okay. No, I cut you off because the preface is important. It's how you are contextualizing the whole show. You know, this is the comments that I've made to you in our editing process, Tafokints, that the first thing you write is going to set the stage for everything that comes after it. So you need to choose your words carefully. Now, I'm here to tell everybody that's watching right now, we have a great show tonight. I'm going to do Tafokints' job for him. We got a great show tonight. We might not have a broad diversity of topics to talk about right now, but what we lack in quantity, we make up for in quality with some great analysis of the Pound 2016 likely top 32 bracket. I think everybody's excited for that. As well as
I
some
can get into
discussion
that.
of the Pound series history.
All right. I'm cool.
So
I'm
don't
cool
we
with
have
that.
we have some PSAs, right?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. Oh no, I just. Well, Battle of the Five Gods ended. I'm running for Yahoo. What else is there?
This is a really quick rundown of the PSAs, dude. Let's start with. We can start with the early reg deadlines. So, there's a bunch of tournaments coming up, and they're all ending their early reg, early bird, whatever you want to call it, deadlines soon. That's CEO, GAML, EGL, DreamHack, Evo. I think I'm missing another one too.
We gotta get like a calendar, all this stuff together.
Yeah. So, we did not provide links in the agenda, but you're gonna have to look that up. If you're attending any of those tournaments, you're gonna have to register if you haven't done so already, or else you're gonna pay a little bit more starting next week.
And some of it actually may happen by this weekend. So if you want to save
Evo's
money,
happening tonight. Yeah, Evo's in a few hours. If you haven't registered for Evo yet, don't know what you're doing, but you got to do that right now.
yeah, if you want to save money and not throw it away, you can use that money playing a hand of blackjack.
That's
W.
true. Like that's how I justify all my purchases. Like, I'll go the extra mile and buy this because I'm gonna lose it all in two hands of blackjack anyway.
Oh god,
Salary
No.
life, man. Salary
That's
life.
the
I'm not gonna.
spirit.
No, that's a Don't do that.
Alright.
Don't do
So
it.
there's some other tournaments. So if you're interested in What the Fox, Super Smash Con, Evo, I think have deadlines. I think CEO is going to have a deadline coming up. DreamHack Austin is going to have a deadline. So pretty much, just make sure if you are planning ahead and you want to go to those events and you haven't registered, just go ahead and just check and see if you're going to be meeting the deadline.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
we should get a post stickied up on like Melee It On Me Facebook group that's just like, here's a list of deadlines for this summer. Summer of Smash calendar, basically.
Dingus
Sure.
or Luna, if you're here.
Yeah, where's
Handle it.
where's Lil Ding Dong?
Handle it.
He's on the case.
All right.
Now,
else is
what is this next PSA? What could this possibly be? Painting with blur.
What does painting with blur
Why
mean?
would anybody want to watch that?
This sounds like the worst show ever.
Maybe that's why we're supposed to watch it. Tafokints, tell us what you know about this crazy harebrained scheme.
So, Sheridan, there is one guy who has been really awesome, a big fan of the Scar and Toe show. He has made his own semi-animations and said, you know what? I get more exposure on the Melee It On Me channel, so we're going to upload these semi-animations on the Melee It On Me channel. And these are just little snippets of the Scar and Toe show, the funny moments, the funny stories that often featured the Crimson Buster. Will be on the Melee It On Me channel going forward. And let me give a shout out to the guy. His name, he goes by Quadruple JMC4 or Quadruple JMC on Twitter. Go ahead and give him a follow. He puts up these little graphic animations, and I think they're pretty cool. And
Neato.
Can we watch it?
It's like 3 minutes.
Never mind. I said I wouldn't want to watch it. I'm gonna stick to that.
You'll cave. I'm certain of it.
Okay, but it's actually really good. Have you heard the story of Painting with Blur?
Why don't you tell us?
So, do you know if I'm just going to tell him? Why don't we just take the 3-minute 44-second version of it?
No.
Okay, so TLDR, Crimson Blur is at Big House 5. He's with Toph, and he meets this guy named Sam Park. And Sam Park goes up to him and says, I love playing against the figureheads and top players of Melee in a special type of money match. The loser has to make a picture or a drawing of the winner. Of course, Sam, being a relatively newer player, has drawn many other players in his little notebook of drawings. So Crimson Blur and him end up playing, and Toph is like looking around, and then they later find out that the Crimson Blur lost.
Whoa!
And in context,
That was
so we
way
don't know,
too big of a woe for,
so
for the
Sam,
Crimson Blur losing.
so
That's
Sam
true.
Park,
Actually, that's expected. Go on.
So Sam Park, being this totally random player that no one has heard of, no offense to Sam Park, I'm pretty sure most people, you haven't heard of him, and he's probably from your region, actually, Juggleguy.
Haven't heard of him. Might be.
So flash forward, so Toph is aware of this story. He knows what's happened. He knows that Crimson Blur owes Sam Park a picture. Flash forward to the office at Twitch. As you know, Mike Ross and Erin Fateh, aka Crimson Blur, work in partnerships. So they literally have their computers next to each other.
Okay.
Mike glances over and says, Crimson Blur, what in the world are you drawing? Because he's on MS Paint on company time, and he's drawing this really intricate picture. There are butterflies on the side. There are details on his face. But the funny part is, so Crimson Blur explains the situation to Mike Ross and says, Mike, I played a really good player. He was a top player, and I lost in this painting match. Now, of course, this gets relayed to Scar and Toph. Toph hears that from Mike, from Crimson, that he lost to a top player, and that's why he had to do the drawing. Toph says, no, absolutely not. He lost to a person that he absolutely didn't even hear of, and that's the story. The picture there's a picture lying around that somebody could link. Somebody in the chat could link. And yeah, so that's the story of Painting with Crimson Blur. And not to lie, Juggleguy, if you ever do another donation drive for Big House, one of the rewards should be having Crimson Blur draw a MS Paint drawing of you, because it actually is worth a donation. I think it's really good.
I think that's an excellent idea. I'm on it, dude. That's like compendium the highest goal. Blur draws you.
So wait, what I want to know is who drew the picture of him that he uses for the Twitter profile picture?
Oh, that was
Oh.
a random. I don't remember.
The Evo, the TV thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's some person on Twitter, I imagine. I remember seeing the tweet and
It's a really
Blur's
nice
subsequent retweet. Yeah. All right, we about done with talking about.
Yeah, let's go
mediocre
to the
players.
meat. I mean,
Okay.
mediocre is a compliment, honestly. Anyway,
Yeah, it's true.
Pound 2016.
Yeah, dude, we got a lot of stuff going on. There's a couple exhibitions. There's Melee, Smash 4, obviously, even Smash 64, and this is all in 2 days. There are 900 event entrants for Melee. It's going to be pretty big. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the biggest 2-day for Melee. So we'll see how it goes. And there's going to be time to squeeze in even some exhibitions such as the mono character crew battles. I'm really looking forward to that. Do you guys want to take a look at the graphic?
Yes.
I'm
show us
looking at the
graphic.
bracket right now.
Yeah, so we have 8 different characters. A crew battle, a crew battle composition where you play your mains, 4 Falcons versus 4 Ice Climbers, for example. And, some of these teams are a little more stacked than the others.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Puff as probably the worst team, even though they have arguably the best player. So that's going to be interesting to see if one player can really carry that crew, especially if it's 4 characters, right? That happens a lot where you just can't kill somebody like Hungry Box, and he just carries the crew. Like he takes 10 stock or whatever, and that's it. There's only 4 players. GG's. And there's some I don't know, Fox, Falco. They're pretty deep. They are not to be messed with.
I like the Falcon team a lot, actually, and the Samus.
Yeah, Falcon. They even had to leave out none, so there were 5 really, really good Falcons going, and I guess none drew the short straw. So we got 320GX dudes and S2J. I like the chances a lot.
I like the Samus team, actually, as well.
Yeah.
And that's I think that might be one that's, well, actually, I don't know if this is what they meant in the bracket, but if you turn on projections in the bracket for the crew battles, it has Team Samus beating Team Marth. I think that's just probably just random. But I mean,
yeah, I don't know how they determine that one.
I think most of us would consider that an upset, but I think it's something that's kind of more likely than you think. I think a lot of Marths don't like that matchup.
Mm-hmm.
It's really something where you get the Marth curse coming out. Can't kill until you got to kill early, or else you're going to kill Samus at 160. Edge guarding Samus is always just a guessing game. Samus tries to make Marth impatient, which she is often successful in doing.
Yeah.
And just so many trixies that Marth can't really ever get a super solid punish on. I mean,
right.
I think this is going to be a tough one.
I also think the counterpick stage battle favors Samus a little bit. Just that I think the Dreamland pick against Marth is a heavier counterpick than anything Marth can counterpick Samus, especially because I believe there's gonna be no bans in this crew battle.
Oh, did you hear about the counterpick rules though?
Oh no! Did they change it? What is it?
So how it works is, yes, there's no bans, but you can only pick a stage once. So if you counterpicked FD once,
sure.
You can't pick that ever again.
That's fair. I like those rules. I still think the Dreamland pick, the one pick that's going to happen, is going to get the Samus players more value than a Yoshi story pick for the Marth, especially when that happens. Because if they just can't kill a Samus for a couple stocks in a row, Samus gets a couple down smashes. That's going to be real bad.
Yeah.
I like the rule about the counterpick stage because, in a regular crew battle, you're always waiting to save your biggest counterpick for when the opposing team has the most number of stocks, and usually that's a character counterpick. Occasionally it's a style counterpick, but like when it's a mono character crew battle, like the style you're not really you're just putting in the better player. That's really all the counterpick situation is. But like giving you that option of the stage counterpick only once per crew battle also gives you that bigger. It's a more interesting. Crew battle
diversifies
because,
it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You have another way to counterpick.
I like that a lot.
Just character counterpick.
Yeah, otherwise it'd just be Dreamland Yoshi Story, Dreamland Yoshi Story.
Right.
I think that'd be really silly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna take Team Samus in this one. What do you guys think?
I'm
think
going with
Samus.
Team Samus, honestly.
Okay.
You know, I know Drug Fox plays Marth, but have we really seen that against? Have we really seen it in action against anything other than space animals on FD or whatever?
I don't know. I can't remember the last time I saw his Marth on a non-FD stage. Yeah, against a non-spacey, so I'm not sure about that one. All right.
Yeah.
We also have Fox versus Peach. I think there's a lot of heavy hitters on both sides, but the Fox crew on paper.
Fox is just ridiculously over OP.
Yeah.
In this crew.
I don't think there's too much to discuss here. Honestly, like the Peach crew, sure, there's a nice top 2 there, and there was a point in time in Melee's history where you could have had like a 6v6 Peach versus Fox crew potentially being close to even just because of the depth of the Peaches, but they're not here anymore. Armada's not here. You know, people like Vans and V-Wins are retired, so I think Fox is going to dominate this one.
Yeah, and they're all like decent to good at the matchup too.
Yeah. Okay. We also have Falcon versus Ice Climbers as another round 1 matchup. Any thoughts?
This is going to be really exciting, I think.
Yeah.
Either way.
So I don't know how good the 20GX Falcons are against Ices. The memory escapes me. I don't remember how well Wizrobe does against like Chudat and Nintendude. I'm sure they played before.
So for a while, that was like one of the weaknesses. Like they didn't know because like 20GX they didn't like really approach, and one of the advantages is like knee on shield is really powerful, and so they've gone a lot better. Gravy has, I believe, beaten Nintendo the last couple times they played.
Okay.
And so I don't think they have as much of a weakness here as they used to. I think Wobbles, SCG has always been strong. I think Wizzy's gotten a lot better at the matchup. I think the issue here is that I'm not convinced of how well Gatsu and Gravy do on stage, like on like a large stage.
Sure. So I think assuming Gatsu and Gravy, you know, if they're left vulnerable with 3 or 4 stocks to a counter pick, for example, like maybe the Ices will burn the FD counter pick right then and there. Assuming Gatsu and Gravy hold their own, I think the Falcons have this, but I don't know. Maybe home field advantage even will play a part. Like Nintendude and Chudat they're like on their home turf. I'm sure the crowd's going to be pretty hyped up for these crew battles. I'm going to take the Falcon crew though by like
I'm going to take Falcon.
one or 2 stocks. I think it'll be a real close one.
Oof. I think I'm going to go Falcon too.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I think Gravy, and if this was last year, I would have given it to the Ice Climbers because I wasn't sold on 20GX versus Ice Climbers, but they've gone a lot better at the matchup.
Cool. And
let me just ask you real quick. What's the stage counter pick for each character? Do you think, Robin, as a resident Captain Falcon expert?
I think Ice Climbers' strongest 2 are Yoshi Story and FD, and I think Falcon's best stage by far is Battlefield, and I think Dreamland is also really good.
I also think Stadium's good too.
I think FD is, I don't know. I'm conflicted about whether that's a good or bad stage. I think on the one hand, you know, you always want to be able to get back down to the stage, but I think that's something that Ice Climbers need more than Captain Falcon in this matchup particularly. And I think that the platforms on other stages really help Ice Climbers' core vertical movement. And I actually like to counterpick FD against Ice Climbers with a lot of my characters because I try to exploit their poor vertical motion. You know,
Okay.
you treat them basically just like a Luigi. You know, they're only going to go side to side or up and down. And
Yeah.
you know, if you could control side to side really well, like Falcon can, then you know you win the other dimension almost automatically.
Yeah. The thing with FD, I just feel like the Falcon has to really play at the Ice Climbers' pace because there's no if the Ice Climbers can control the space well, there's no platforms for Falcon to retreat on, and ledge is just not good. So that's also why I actually would not counterpick Stadium versus ICs. I just think I would rather have a top platform.
Hmm.
So I would actually go Falcon
Yeah.
before
Yeah,
Stadium.
top platform is.
And I think Battlefield is by far the best Falcon versus IC stage, in my opinion.
Hmm.
All right, so
All right,
we
and now the
one
most
more.
interesting.
The most interesting to Puff man, Sheridan. Speak for yourself. We got Puff versus Falco as the last round 1 matchup. Looking at the rosters, how do you think this one will go?
I actually don't know who Aglet is, and if I considered myself good against Falco, I would like challenge that.
Oh,
But I'm not. I don't consider myself good against Falco, so I'm just gonna leave it. If it was against Sheik, though, then I would say something.
Oh yeah.
How did Sheik not get into this? I'm really surprised because
the people spoke, and I am biased as a Falcon main, but I will agree with the people. I don't think it'd be fun to see 4 Sheiks battling it out in a crew.
And we have a lot of interesting matches. Sheik Fox and Sheik Falco are pretty fun.
But consider the alternatives.
Like true. Like Puff.
Can you not think of anybody to replace out of these 8 characters with Sheik?
I would replace Puff in a heartbeat.
I was surprised most people did not do the same. I mean, not that I'm.
It is what it is, though. And okay, I might also
when you
get
consider
exposed.
you have like Shroom, Swedish Delight, and you know there's so and even Drug Fox could go on that and have a different Marth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of talent there that could make a really strong and interesting team.
Mm-hmm.
So
if I was
whatever.
in charge, I put the Sheiks straight up against ICs first round. Get the Sheiks out of here.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know who Aglet is either. Are we about to get exposed here? Are we going to go 0 for 3, or are you going to save us, Daniel?
What the hell's an Aglet?
Oh my god.
I think actually an Aglet isn't it those plastic things at the end of your shoelaces?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's something related to a shoe or boot.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie. The only reason I know this is from playing a game called Terraria. That's kind of like Minecraft. And it's an Aglet in that game. It's like upgrade your boots to this lightning Aglet. Walk fast.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, if there's anything consolation here, is that Aglet took games off of Nintendo's Ice Climbers.
All right. So.
Yeah, but they're going against Falco.
That'll be very useful against the Falco team. Oh wait.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
I don't know, dude. Like Falco versus Puff has always been this matchup that we don't really see that much because the Falcos usually go Fox. Like it doesn't seem like any Falco really wants to try it. Even Westballs lately has been going Fox on some of his games versus Hungry Box.
Well, like maybe that guy could pull like a Weedle from Big House.
Yeah, and just like get a couple rests, get some value.
Yeah.
I mean that's the thing. This is going to be a high variance. These are going to be high variance matches. That's just tough.
Like what if Hungry Box takes like 4 of Axe and like 4 of another guy?
I think Fruit Loop is really solid at the Puff matchup from what I remember. So he's not going to be a weak link at all, despite being like clearly the fourth Falco here. And Zoo is going to be the big one because he always goes Fox versus Puff historically.
Zoo's really bad against Ice Climbers and
Peach and Puff. Yeah.
Peach, he's okay, I guess. But
honestly, if I was the Puff team, I would think about throwing Aglet out there versus Zoo just to try to get some more value out of that counter pick.
Yeah.
Well, you don't think
Get a couple up throw
you don't think
rests
you would
and
get
tie it up.
you don't think you would throw a Hungry Box at him because maybe you get a 3 or 4 stock even.
Maybe. Yeah, it's hard to say with these swings. For me personally, just because of the roster of Puff, like I think I would save Hungry Box for the last. By
Yeah,
default.
I think if you're
Okay.
starting out behind,
Yeah.
you need to find a place to put your your anchor or whatever. You need to
You know
find
what
a
I would
place
do?
for them. Yeah.
You know what I would do? I would interview Hungry Box right now, and I'd say, "What is your strategy?" And then go the complete opposite of whatever strategy that is.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's what I would do.
Shots.
No, just because of that, I'm gonna pick Falcos in this one because I remembered how questionable Hungry Box's crew battle decisions are.
Well, in this one, like, they're all the same character, right? So, like, how
Yeah,
bad can possibly screw this one up?
True. I mean, Sheridan, you're right. Maybe if you put H box in versus Zoo with like Dreamland counter pick, maybe just 3 or 4 stocks him. Honestly, like, it could happen.
But
So-
that's you have to have that situation where you're coming in against Zoo with 3 or
True.
4 stock to begin with.
True.
But yeah,
So
that's something I would.
maybe
That's
the,
something I
maybe
would
the
look
Falco
for.
team throws out Zoo first. I don't know, just because if they don't anticipate
True.
Hungry Box going first, that might be
Yeah.
a nice.
That might
first
be a
pick.
good strat.
All right. Well, I'm still taking the Falcos.
All right. So round 2, Fox and Samus.
You know, this
Oh!
This
this
is
will be
gonna
good. This is gonna be excellent, and I so wish Leffen was here, but he's
Yeah.
not. So we're still gonna work with our rosters.
But if you look at the 3 versus 3 here, like Mango S. Colble versus Hugs Plub Duck, that's like almost even.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. I think those 3 versus the 3, it's like I still give Fox a slight edge because Colbull, arguably the worst Fox here out of the 3, is still super strong versus Samus. And SFAT, he's still up lifetime, versus these Samuses for the most
I don't
part.
think he is.
Against
I mean,
Hugs?
Duck usually gets a better
Oh,
end of
no, you're
Zack.
right. You're right.
you lost the duck at that one big house, or was it
And
like a
DreamHack.
random? It was a local. No,
I think
it was a Michigan local or something.
No, you're right. You're right. I think it's 3-2 Duck. Yeah. He DreamHack Duck beat him. So, Mango, if he can carry the team, they'll be in good shape. The problem is Chillin is ass versus Samus. I don't feel bad saying that because he definitely got 6-0'd out of a Michigan tournament by Hugs and Duck back to back.
Ooh.
And if I recall correctly, I believe Daryl whooped him pretty bad at a ROM a while ago. So I think that's a little bit of a questionable matchup. I don't see Chillin pulling his weight in this crew battle. I think it's all up to Mango. If Mango doesn't take 6 stocks, I think it's going to be the Samus players taking it.
And the funny thing is that all the Samuses play very unique. So like, they're going to. I feel like they have the gimmick edge on the Foxes.
Yeah. Both strong
And, like,
Fox on Yoshi's or FD, and then Samus on Dreamland, Fountain. There's going to be some good counter picks involved.
And like I could just imagine like a couple of bees at a show coming out, people screaming, and then them getting down smash and side being off the stage. For the Foxes, like I can totally see that happening in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mango's gonna have to like recover from like a 3 stock deficit and like win.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with the Samus. I'm gonna go with the upset because I think Mango is amazing in crews, but I don't know if he's gonna feel the same passion playing for a Fox crew battle. Like I don't know if his loyalty and passion is gonna be there. That the intensity for a character crew battle where he's besides SFAT, it's just like I'm on a Fox team. It's not like he's playing SoCal versus Europe or anything.
Yeah, no, he's gonna be like, "You guys suck."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my pick.
Man, I don't know. That's a really tough one. I am gonna go Samus.
Ooh.
I'm going Samus.
Oh my god. All right.
I'm not a believer in Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And the other
Falco and Captain Falcon or Ice Climbers.
if it's Falco Falcon, the Falcons are gonna take it.
Yeah.
No analysis.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's Falco Ices, ooh, I could see. I think the Ices would take it if they face Falco.
I don't think so.
No.
Nah. I mean, I just think it's too easy. It's too easy for the Falcos to just patient them out.
Good. Now that I think about it, Axe is really good at the Falco Ices matchup. I remember him taking a set off Wobbles in that matchup before.
Yeah.
So it's really close for me.
I have no idea how Fruit Loop is going to do against Ice Climbers. I think they're just going to have to send Zoo in against. I guess I would send him in against Diz because I think Zoo will be able to figure that playstyle out and beat it eventually.
Right.
Eventually.
On the other hand, this is not like playing a set. This is you've got a few stocks.
Yeah. Each stock that you learn from it costs you a stock.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how good is Westfalls against
Westfalls is excellent.
When was the last time? I mean, Fly hasn't been playing for a while, so I guess there's not a whole lot of.
He goes back and forth against Wobbles.
Yeah, I think he does really well from what I've seen. Minus the Chew That set from Evo. Every other time I've seen him play Ices, he's done really well.
It's either he once in a while it really frustrates me because he'll play really well and then I don't know what he does and he just throws and I'm just why? Why?
That's less balls for you. Who are you taking, Daniel? If in both of these scenarios?
Dude, I don't care what anybody says. How the hell is Falco Falcon anywhere remote to even that some people claim?
Whoever claims that is not correct.
Nutty.
Is it Gatsu? Is he the person you're talking about?
There's a bunch of people that do. Westballs thinks it's close to even. Zoo thinks that's even. I'm just wait, what?
How does Zoo think that's even?
He just thinks it's impossible to beat the 20 GX.
Nope.
What? This
60,
is okay. A long time ago in NorCal, before Zoo was super amazing, Silent Spectre beat him, and after that set, Zoo complained, not really complained, but kind of explained it as Silent Spectre camping him.
All right,
we're talking about Captain Falcon camping a Falco as a winning strategy.
All right. Well,
I mean, I think in theory, if you get your power shield game is perfect, then maybe, but no one has shown to do that, and it's been 14 years, so yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna have to go Falco, and then the Ice Climbers case, I'm gonna go Ice Climbers.
I'm gonna agree with that.
Didn't Westfalls almost lose to Diskin?
I'm taking Falco regardless.
Didn't Westfalls lose to Diskin?
He did. I just think I don't even know, dude.
At this point, this is the frustrating thing. I got called out for calling him inconsistent, and every tournament, I'm just please, Westfalls, for the good of SoCal, stop making other regions feel good about themselves because they keep beating you. Is what I'm thinking in my head.
But to be fair, he usually, whenever he loses one of those sets, is usually in winners, and then he brings it all the way back.
But I don't want other regions to be oh, but we beat Westfalls. Stop losing.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Is it worth talking about a potential finals, or is that just too many matchups ahead?
We'll just do the permutation where we think Samus and Falco, I guess.
Sure. This is gonna be a fun one too.
I mean, if Fox can't beat Samus, I don't see the Falcos doing it.
I agree. I think I would take Samus.
Yeah.
Are we really predicting Samus to win this crew battle?
No, it's not that
This is
wild
the
of a
lowest
prediction.
tiered, the lowest tier,
It
the
is.
the character lowest on the tier list.
Yes, but out of the top 3, is there a better average MIOM rank?
I mean, I think the Fox.
The
I think
Foxes
it's
are
Fox
better.
and Samus are I
They're
think-
barely. Yeah.
arguably the 2 highest talent density. If you could throw Falco in there too.
Falco, but Axe is Falco, if you put him on the MIOM rankings.
That's true.
I don't know where you'd be if you entered Falco for a year.
That's
I think
true.
he'd be like the mid-20s.
Yeah.
I think he'd be strong. I think he'd be top 15.
Ooh. Whoa. I'm going to go ahead
I
and
think-
disagree with that.
I don't know. I think if you look at the MIOM rank, I see a pretty big gap around 15 to 17.
Mm.
I wouldn't.
There's
I
like
don't see.
there's like
You're,
there's a
you're
distinct
saying
tier
if
there.
Axe enters tournaments as Falco for a year, he'd be 15th best player at the end.
I'll say at worst 17th.
Ooh.
17th or-
Because like I would imagine this would open up like people like Swedish Delight beating him.
Yeah, I don't see him higher than 20.
I don't know. I'm not seeing Swedish Delight beating him. I'm seeing him have a pretty even chance with MacD or S2J.
I don't know. Swedish has been destroying.
Uh,
Swedish has been destroying West Bulls like lately.
we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one. I think he'd be 20th at best.
All right.
All Falco. Anyway, dude, Hugs Plup Duck is a scary top 3. Like even Esam,
Sam's very good.
he's good. He does stuff, and like he
I
just
mean,
has
he could
this good
easily-
match awareness.
It would not surprise me at all for him if he went 4 stock against Chillin or Call Ball to take that.
I think he would win. He wouldn't go even with Kobold because like Kobold is really good at that matchup. But I think he would straight up beat Chillin.
Yeah, I think he would beat Chillin. He has beaten Chillin before. It's happened in tournament.
You guys know that like a really, really long time ago, back in the days of the DC++ hub.
Oh, DC
I'm
plus.
talking like 2005 or 2006.
Yeah, we're talking 05. That's the first year I thought of, 05, 06.
Yeah. I remember, this was when I was starting on the hub, and Hugs and Chillin had some hub beef.
I remember that. That was really funny.
And I think they eventually settled it at like a tournament later that year, and I believe Hugs won.
Yep. And 9 years later, things did not change.
10 years later, even.
Yeah, I'm talking about the
Years
tournament.
ago.
Chillin got 6-0'd by Doug.
Ah, yeah.
Dude, I'm straight up taking Samus if Samus plays Falco in the finals.
I'm taking Samus too.
I can see
All right.
Axe
What if
and
it's
Zoo
Fox?
getting janked by a couple down smashes.
What if it's Fox Falco?
If it's Fox Falco, I'm gonna take the Fox.
I'm taking the Foxes.
Yeah.
It's
I
hard.
Don't know.
It's hard. It depends.
It is hard.
If Chillin, squeaks out 3 stocks, I think they're in good shape. But yeah, we would.
It's close. I think West Bulls would shine. Like, damn it, would do really well.
Wow, that was a 3 out of 10 at best.
That was not intentional. It was, yeah.
Mhm. All right, we trying to
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah.
Um,
We're calling it for Samus. I can't believe we're saying that.
yeah, dude, I don't think that's that controversial.
Like
I mean,
if it was like,
it's not controversial when you look at the lineup, but just with devoid of context, saying Samus is going to win a character crew battle just seems bizarre.
wait, have we ever done a character crew battle at a large tournament?
don't
Not
think
that
so.
I'm aware of.
I don't think so. This is a very good idea.
Because I've been like going on my ESPN article. I'm like, is this the first ever? And I'm like worried to pin that because like
I think so. Go ahead and pin that, Daniel. I
Yeah.
cannot think of anything like this before.
Okay, I'm like a little bit worried. Oh no, this one
We're
year
running out of ideas for exhibition events.
Right. I think Samus dodging Falcon and Puff
Yeah.
is just super good for Samus. And
Yeah.
even if they ran into the Puffs, I think with the Puff lineup they'd be okay. But especially like Falcon, that'd be a rough matchup.
The Puff Samus matchup is a little strange because, well, it's strange in the context of Puff because it's not as high variance compared to the other matchups that Puff has.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
floaty, right?
you don't really ever see like the huge swings in that matchup. So it's just one of those things where they fight each other for a long time, and just because you have so many encounters, Puff is just going to win more of them.
Yeah.
And it's just usually like, the Puff low percent one stock or high percent two stock,
Mm-hmm.
and there's just no way around that.
I'm
It's
gonna
just
laugh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna laugh so hard if this is Samus versus Ice Climbers.
I think that still will be interesting. Well, I guess it depends on the players. I remember there was a TMG match that was like Samus versus Ice Climbers that was like 25 minutes or something like that.
Yep.
Is that what it was? Samus Ice Climbers?
That's funny because I think if the Ice Climbers get past Falcon, they've got a great shot at taking it.
Yeah.
Falcon.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see how this kid does. The last time this kid was in a crew battle, I think he got 4-stocked.
Oh yeah, it was that Kage NorCal one.
Oh yeah. No, he was I think he had 3 stock.
But he did well on his counter pick.
Yes,
to be
correct. He
True.
did.
True.
And then shroomed. Fucking.
We had it
All right.
perfectly set up for Shrimp to win.
I know.
All right,
he just had to do his job.
let's move on.
Moving on. All right.
Right.
Top 32 bracket.
All right.
Yeah, let's
I'm
look at
just
the
gonna
bracket.
I'm just gonna say one thing.
Yeah.
I disagree with Koval in winners
Uh,
against Mango. I think the Moon's
Okay,
gonna.
so
be
we're
difficult.
talking about
round
to
2.
get into top 32.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colville versus the Moon.
The
Yeah,
Moon's
I don't know.
done.
I think.
The Moon's beating him like every time.
Yeah. I remember at SmashCon. I think it was either SmashCon or another summer tournament.
Yeah.
Moon double limbed him. Yeah, I'll take Moon.
But other than
No.
that, I pretty much agree with this bracket. I'll just say, just for the sake of conversation, to move on and not go into every permutation, that we'll agree that this is the winner's top 16.
Yeah, that's fair. I also think Amsa has a good shot versus Wizrobe. I think it's kind of questionable that Amsa is a 33rd seed overall. I think he does a little better than that, but we'll see how he does. He hasn't been to the U.S. in a while. Sheridan, you're an Amsa hater. I remember that.
I'm not a hater.
You
I'm
think he's a
not
fraud.
a hater. I'm far from a hater. In fact, I am a lover. I'm just a skeptic.
Okay. Hater was a strong word. My
I
bad.
think.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, the best of 3 format until that point, I think favors Amsa if we're gonna pick, right? Because like the one thing that was like an issue with Wizzy throughout his history, although he's gotten better with more experience, is that like whenever he plays like a weird matchup that he never plays, he doesn't have the right like infrastructure for it to win. And so we saw that with like Raffle, like when he played like Raffle's Luigi at Apex, or Ice Climbers for a while. Like he has a really good base plan if he knows the matchup really well to like abuse like spacing, but if he has no idea what to do, then like he does really awful.
Mm-hmm. And the only sample of Amsa versus Falcon that I can remember is a couple sets versus S2J, and he has not beaten S2J. He's lost both. So we'll see if Wizrobe can do the Falcon thing against Amsa. I'm really looking forward to that.
I think Amsa's a 17th seed. I think we may have miscalculated it.
Yeah.
Oh. I am stupid. I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he is. So he's a 17. I bet I just got blown up in chat about that.
And no, just like one person mentioned it.
Okay,
All right.
that sounds more accurate.
All right. I'll be right back. My stomach is not feeling good.
Oh.
Okay, Sheridan.
Okay, here's something interesting. If we do end up having Falco Samus, in the
Yeah.
character crew battle.
Oh, we're still talking about
Two
crews?
of those matches could. Oh wait, no, never mind. Yes, no. Westballs and Duck,
Yeah.
Falco Samus. Axe and Hugs, Falco Samus.
Yeah.
2 of those could happen in Winners Round 1, top 32.
Oh, yeah.
That,
I see.
there might be an interesting little preview there.
And all 4 of those players, or at least both of those matchups, Duck has beaten Westballs before, and Hugs has beaten Axe before at Evo.
Yeah, well, of course, Axe will go Pikachu. I would guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Westballs did beat Duck the last time they played, although it was a pretty sloppy set on both parts. Duck's got a pretty hard bracket. He's got Bizarro. Bizarro could give him trouble. That's round 1 of the second pool.
That's just one of those. That's
One
the
of those
matchup.
Icky matchups that.
Yeah.
I'll still take Duck in that. And then he has Swedish, which it's always going to be tough. A Sheik. Although Duck did beat him last time 3-0, which is really, really impressive.
Okay, can you? The Sheik. It seems like the Samus Sheik matchup has just turned completely around.
Yeah, dude.
That's so weird to me. It used to be for a long time. It seemed like it was.
Yeah, people were saying 70-30 a few years ago, and it really seemed like it because the Samus players weren't really innovating as hard. And then over the last couple of years, they've just, at least Duck, he's just been beating. He took M2K to Game 5. He beat Swedish a couple times in a row now. It's pretty crazy. I still think Sheik wins maybe 60-40 or maybe a little less. I don't know. It's hard to say. Another interesting matchup I'm looking at is Pew Pew versus S2J.
Yes.
I think it's interesting because Pew Pew was probably, I don't know, 8-0 or something like that before the last encounter, and S2J beat him the last time they played.
And which was when?
I believe that was Smash Summit.
Okay. Yeah, and of course, Pew Pew lost to.
None, right?
At G3.
Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot about that. So, do you think Kevin just has a mental block versus Falcon right now?
I don't know. I really hate to take only 2 data points and make a trend out of it. I know
it's 3 data points too, because PPU was on his last gasp versus Gravy at CEO last year too. He was down a game and down 2 stocks to 1 game 2.
I don't know, man. I feel like this is like I might have to pick
best of
S2J
3
here.
territory. He's best of 3 territory. So if Kevin doesn't figure something out, he's going to be on his way out pretty soon.
But he may have Gatsu the round before.
Oh,
so that might give him some insight. Although I mean, Gatsu and S2J are different.
Gatsu's really good at the Marth matchup too. I believe he beat the Moon, double limbed the Moon at SmashCon. Yeah, dude, this is gonna be tough for PPU.
This is one of those. This is another interesting matchup that has also evolved, just like Sheik Samus, where I think this is one for a long time. Like Marth, just the actual in results terms, Marth would win, but people just tended to believe that there was something there for Falcon in the matchup.
Yeah,
and it was only a matter of time for that to be exposed.
Yeah. Well, I thought it's 50-50 for a while, and considering Marth is a top 4 character in the game, I think that's a really good matchup for Falcon.
Yeah, and I think the Lord also pushed Kevin off of Marth at a Foundry.
Oh wow! And then,
so you think Kevin might go Fox
against Johnny?
I think that's a bad idea.
I think he would get whooped if he went Spaceys.
But what about it against Gatsu, right? I think
I could see it working. I could see it working versus Gatsu.
Because Gatsu's beating the Moon almost every time they played. And to be honest, if I'm gonna drop some knowledge bombs, I actually have been kind of experimenting with how Falcon works. And I find that just like running at him is significantly better than running away, because like a lot of people think he has no projectile, but if you give him room to dash dance, like it's so hard to deal with. Whereas if you just like run at him, like it limits him. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah, I totally agree because if you catch Falcon going the wrong way on his dash dance, he's got to react to it. He can't. It's too slow to turn around and neutral air, or all you have to do is you either go defensive or you throw out a back air or something. But people I think don't realize like you could force the issue if you are good at just picking out the little motions in people in their dash dances.
And if you like can catch little openings, like even like if you're at low percent and they nair you, you can just literally crotch cancel, like grab them.
Stop telling people the secrets, Daniel. Stop.
And so like watch.
I've known this for a while. Like running at Falcon is just a good way to take space. and crouch canceling his nair is like the Falcon's worst nightmare.
And then like if you watch how Cactar and Dart play it, like they just go at the Falcon.
And like good at that matchup. Did you see Dart destroy Wizrobe?
Yeah, I did. Rubicon or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's the secret. Like most people think, well, like you just camp, like, but no, like you give them dash dance, they will eventually find a spot and kill you.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy on Falcon.
Yeah. So your thoughts on the player-to-player matchup, Daniel, for Johnny versus PPU?
I think if he goes Martha against Gatsu, he's going to lose.
Oh, you think he's not even gonna make it there? If he...
Like when I watch it, right? Kevin misses. I mean, Kevin also lost to None.
That's true. Yeah, we just talked about that. He might just have this mental block right now against Falcon.
I don't think he plays the matchup correctly. And
well, I think that's one of maybe the one thing holding Kevin back from breaking into, because I think for a while like he was a solid number 10, and I think the thing keeping him from breaking that is that he plays more conservative in tournament, especially when in tense situations, than he does otherwise. And I think he misses out on. It's not that he gets punished directly from that. It's just he misses out on opportunities because of that. Like if you look at his edge guarding, for example, against Foxes or Falcos, and maybe there's completely possible that there's something that I'm missing about why he chooses to do this, but a lot of the time you see him stand on the stage and wait to read the recovery options. I think that's exactly the kind of thing that I'm pointing out is you don't get punished for that, but you lose opportunities. And the example that I point to as like a counterexample of why you want to go out there, why you don't want to play conservative, is Mewtwo King destroying Leffen at PAX or whatever it was. It was like 6-1 or something like that.
Yeah, dude, he turned up. He definitely was more aggressive in that set.
And especially on the edge guarding, what he would do is when he knew Fox or Falco had to recover, he would do kind of like this kind of provisional jump out there, and then he would make the read at that point, and he was in a much better position to punish them, because he's already out there as opposed to just on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope to see Kevin try to apply something like that.
And you've also mentioned that with Hungry Box too.
Yeah.
Like him deciding to go out earlier to contest Firefoxes inside Bees has given him a significant jump in success. I think the word
you have to do that with Puff. You're just too slow to do it otherwise.
I think the main thing that's like kind of, and this is with like kind of Dwan too, although he's getting better at it, and I think SFAT's kind of like adapting to 2016 meta, is that they would love to skirmish to a point where it's like actually bad. Like they want to like mango their way out of situations, and I think because of that they're not finding like the guaranteed like punishes or guaranteed neutral options that like other players are figuring out, and so I think that's where they're falling behind.
All right.
But anyway, I'm digressing.
There's another matchup I want to talk about is Plup versus Nintendude, because I can't remember if this has happened before, and Plup has usually been going Samus versus the Ices, and he
battle of the
just,
5 gods.
Okay, yeah, he straight up didn't lose to an Ices for a while, but then he lost to Wobbles at
Yeah.
Battle of Five Gods.
And he was
So,
Samus there?
Yeah.
At least, yeah. Did he have one game of Sheik? He is mostly Samus.
I
if
think
not
he's
both.
always Samus because like he doesn't like playing Sheik Ice Climbers. He did have a close set against like Chu once where it went to game 3, like near last hit. So, but he's always gone Samus, and up to what you've mentioned with Wobbles, he's won every set.
Yeah, and like, that's a good matchup. He should go Samus on paper. So I'll be interested to see if Dude can make any noise. He's gonna have T.O. Johns too, so we'll see. I'll take Plup in that one though.
I take Blub.
All right.
Not too much else in round one.
What is Hax going to do at this tournament?
If I recall, he is thinking about dropping out.
Oh, that's too bad.
This is the word on the street. So that's why I don't have him on my fantasy team. I think he's the worst fantasy pick by far out of anybody that you could possibly pick because of he's amazing, but he might just get 0. He might drop out. So I don't know, and I don't want to like speak for him or whatever injuries or insomnia or whatever he has, but I really would like to see him at full health, and I hope he stays in. And I want to see him versus Chudat versus SFAT. His projected bracket here.
Yeah. The good news for him though is that if top 32 bracket does play, he would be playing at 2 p.m. And Hax has mentioned that as it goes later into the day, like the insomnia starts kicking in more. And so if he makes it that far, it's actually a really good time for him to play.
Good. Assuming he's at full capacity, how do you see him versus Chudat and then him versus SFAT going?
I really don't know what to say. I'm like alternately convinced and completely unconvinced in Chudat's ability.
That's probably like all of us at some point looking at Chudat. Because sometimes he loses to Lod, and sometimes he beats Westball, Silent Wolf, and Hugs to make Evo top 8. Like, what can you say? I don't know which Chudat is going to show up. I really don't.
Yeah.
And you don't know which Hax is going to show up or not.
Yeah.
For that matchup.
Yeah, exactly.
Although Hax's style is actually really, really frustrating to deal with as Ice Climbers.
Yeah, I imagine.
So there's that too. If Hax wins, he's really good at the Fox Ditto. I think people forget that. If he was full strength, I think he would beat SFAT, but...
Did he win our Do You Fox with it?
Yeah, he beat everybody, many times. He won the bracket.
I think Zach actually got second. I think Hax went 5-0 and Zach went 4-1 and only lost to Hax.
In the round robin.
In the Fox round robin.
I can't remember, but...
Yeah. Seems about right. I think SFAT beat Lucky or something, and then Kobo drowned.
Yeah, Kobo went 0-5.
0-5. Was that the birth of the Kobo Marth, that tournament?
I
decided to stop
know.
Playing Fox Dittos.
It might be the inception. Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the inception.
For what it's worth, his Marth is pretty good against Spacies. So I have to give props to him.
Shall we look at quarters? Potential quarterfinals?
Yeah.
So the first one jumps out to me. If Pew Pew survives the Falcon Gauntlet, I think Mango is the best god for Pew Pew to face. Historically, I think he's done the best versus Mango out of all the gods, and I would give him a solid 10 to 20% chance here.
Okay, so has Pew Pew beaten Mango outside of what I remember? The only time I remember is Landhammer back in 2014.
NCR, right?
NCR. NCR, that's where Mango went to losers and lost to Hungry Box.
And he lost to Kevin to get into losers? Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sheridan,
Okay.
were you TOing this tournament? Come on,
Yes.
Sheridan. Come
Well,
on. It was
I-
a PU versus Hungrybox winners finals.
I knew that happened, and despite the shield break, I think Kevin actually got 3-0'd there.
He did.
But-
yes.
But that's I mean that was 2013, which was even earlier.
True.
At Landhammer, Mango was using Marth, so they Marth dittoed.
Okay.
Kevin has beaten Hungrybox in a
Yes.
real set, though again
Major.
also over a
Yeah.
year ago at
Yeah.
this point. But we know it can be done.
Mhm.
So I don't know. You never know if Mango's going to be full power or not, but I think Kevin would want to play full power Hungrybox versus compared to full power Mango.
They were running sessions yesterday, and Kevin forced Mango off of Fox.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But again, I think Kevin he gets more conservative in tournament. I don't know if you would see the same play.
Yeah, you can't be doing that versus Mango. But in the past sets versus Mango, I have seen really good stuff from Kevin, so I will give him a shot there. Plub versus SFAT. We saw this pretty recent, right? Did it happen at Five Gods?
No, it didn't.
I feel like this has happened. Maybe I'm thinking of Lucky at Genesis or something.
It's probably Lucky.
Yeah.
I don't
Did it
think they've
happen
ever
at
played.
HTC?
No, I don't think they've ever played.
Wow. Okay, this is a good
really?
matchup then. Wow.
Yeah. So what
they
I
had to have played. Okay.
can you name the tournament?
Who's Plup's gonna go? No, I cannot.
So what I feel is going to happen is Pleb is going to go Sheik early, and then they're going to split games, and then he's going to realize that SFAT's not good against Samus.
It's best of 5 territory at this point in the tournament if they were to meet.
Okay, so what's going to happen is this. SFAT is going to win game 1, lose game 2, and go like, aha, like I'm going to pick FD against Sheik. And then Samus is going to come out, and then he's going to lose. And then he's going to and then Pleb's going to win game 4 on Samus.
I can totally see that happening.
There's like so many different scenarios that could play out, and they're all like at like 5%, and that one's just like kind of like slightly more likely scenario. So
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
So
yeah. And Kevin, Zach is, Zach destroys Sheiks.
Yeah.
So, I think Plup, I think what you say is very reasonable. Like, in fact, it could be Plup switches off a Sheik after the first loss and then just 3-0s with Samus. Maybe give him one for a counter, give Zach one for a counter pick, but like 3-1 with Samus after the first loss. Totally possible.
So I'm gonna go Plup here. I've been on the Plup train for a while. I'm a big believer in.
I'll go Plup too.
I know he's your boy.
I will go Plup.
That's when you know.
Okay. I know this matchup doesn't interest most people, but when was the last time we saw Hungrybox MacD?
That happened a lot over the summer.
It's happened a couple times. Yeah, I think FC.
I think it was What the Fox. Didn't that happen at What the Fox last year?
They happened a lot. So
it
Evo,
happened at whatever tournament.
SC, Smash, Press Start, and Paragon.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Has MacD taken a game?
Nope.
Okay, well.
I'm sorry.
I still really like to watch that because, Armada and MacD are almost diametrically opposing styles.
Yeah.
And I think it's not entirely wrong to question whether Armada's style choice is part of the reason of his lack of success against Puff with Peach.
I think it's a totally fair question to ask.
Yeah, it may or may not be, but I like seeing MacD play Hungrybox. Even if he doesn't win or even take a game, it still kind of probes that question. And you can kind of think about, okay, if we had a player at this style at Armada's level, what would this matchup be like?
Because MacD, he takes a lot of games to last stock for Hungrybox. He doesn't do bad at all. The thing is, I'm looking at the previous round, MacD versus Drug Fox, and
MacD versus 4%.
oh really? Is that? Oh my
Okay.
God!
Which was the one? Which one did he lose the 4% at?
He lost at FC to 4%.
Okay, so that's the tournament I'm thinking of. Yeah.
So yeah, we might be seeing MacD bounced into losers round 1 of the second phase of pools potentially. Yeah, dude, Jug Fox is taking the last 2 versus MacD. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think MacD's gonna get to Hungrybox.
Wait, has MacD taken a game? Somebody's saying he is, but I don't.
I can't
You
remember.
don't have it in your stats database.
I
No,
cannot
don't.
remember. Make the stream monster cite that. Yeah, this is gonna be a really tough road.
All right.
All right, we got to probably
Hungrybox,
line up, go the pace.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Okay.
So top 8 in winners, we got Hungrybox, Westballs, Mango, Plub. That's everybody's.
Yeah.
Well, Westballs and Axe is like.
I'm taking Westballs.
Yeah, I'll take Westballs. Okay. Now, give me 4 people in losers.
I'm gonna take Axe.
Plub. Oh wait, no, Plub is top 8.
I'm gonna take. I'm
taking SFAT.
I'm taking Axe, Swedish, SFAT, and actually no, I'm gonna take. Geez, this is hard because there's a lot of like different.
Yeah, a lot of different permutations.
Screw it. I'm gonna take. I'm gonna go for a couple upset picks. I'll take Axe, Swedish, SFAT, and Chudette.
Ooh, Chudette. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. I'm obviously taking Axe. I'm gonna take whoever loses to Mango in round 2. So Kevin or S2J.
Okay.
Then I am gonna take SFAT.
Mhm.
And then the last one, I'm gonna say
That's the tough one.
that's the tough one.
You gonna take the other person, Johnny or?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that other road is too tough. The other road is probably
Yeah.
Swedish Delight, Callball, S2J.
Yeah.
Or Swedish Delight, Callball, MacD.
That's
I
a
think-
rough one.
I think maybe. I think maybe MacD.
Okay.
I don't know. There's just too many people. Like I'm looking at that row there, and like there's like 4 people that could make it.
Yeah.
Swedish. I don't know. Swedish might be a good pick too.
I will say there's this permutation, this random scenario that will give Amsa a really good chance at top 8 because if he beats Wizzy, he'll have potentially Chudette, who he's beaten, Zoo or Drug Fox, I think is doable, and Pew Pew, which is an excellent matchup for Amsa.
I
Actually, Evo, you remember this, Kevin or Daniel? Evo 2014.
Yes.
What happened?
Pew Pew went Fox and easily double 2-stocked Amsa. I think it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because he plays against Thomas, or he used to play a lot against Thomas in Santa Cruz. So he
He's
literally
our,
just
4th place Arcadian.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
and he
I
just
forgot about that.
he would just
I was thinking of the-
laser drill.
Yeah, I was just thinking of the MLG set where Amsa beat him. But I guess that was Marth, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Laser
And-
drill.
Before Evo.
Okay.
But again, it's been almost 2 years. So
We'll see if Amsa
things evolve.
Well, European AMSA do well.
I don't know. Lost to none at the Xanadu
He lost a hat.
and Hat. Okay, that's not a good look.
He would have Plup, and then he'd run into Discade and losers.
Oof.
Like
That's
for
rough.
33rd.
That's right. Does he have a character to face Ices?
I don't think so. He may have just a good enough neutral. Like we forget how good like his aerial control.
That's true. Yeah, you might just good player, Diz Kid.
Oh, that's
Still still, I'm not gonna take him for top.
Is this the curse of the European 33rd place? To give context, like every European mysteriously got 33rd place, like at a lot of the majors outside like Armada, and
You never heard about it.
this is why a lot of us weren't believers in Europe for a long time, because they would come. We're like, Armada's good, like he whooped us. These other guys, like we're gonna be like really stoked for them. 33rd, 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 33rd. And we're like, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Call your 1, 2, 3, 4, and then
Okay.
let's do a brief recap of the history of Pound before we sign off, if we got time.
Daniel.
You guys are going off of me. So I have a strange feeling like Mango's gonna lose to like Plup, and then he's gonna have to go through losers.
Oh.
And what's gonna happen is I think Hungrybox Mango Grand Finals. Mango's gonna take a set and just like run out of steam and forget like something fundamental and then lose. So Hungrybox and Mango are 1 and 2, and then I think it's gonna be Plup and West Balls. Just looking at how this field plays out, I think West is strong against everyone else, and I think Plup is really strong against West Balls, and I think that's how it just plays out.
It's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm kind of feeling West Balls against Plop right now.
Ooh.
Those matches have not been close.
Still.
Like,
Ooh.
and like Swedish, a lesser Sheik than Plup has been destroying West Balls.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time switching off from just really what's already projected in the bracket. Hungrybox, Mango, Plop, West Balls.
I'm gonna go Mango, Hungrybox, Plup, and SFAT.
Ooh, okay. So SFAT over West Balls, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm gonna call that. We'll see what happens.
All right.
Very interesting.
Although I know Wes is up pretty big lifetime, but I just think SFAT has been putting in a lot of work, and he's finally gotten over this seemingly like 9th place hump, and he's gotten so many top 8s in the last 6 months. So I'm gonna take SFAT for 4th at this one.
I think the interesting thing that we think about here is I think a lot of this bracket depends on that West Bulls Duck matchup.
Oh yeah, dude! If Duck wins that, totally different ball game.
And then like I could see West Bulls getting 13th, like some significant amount of time.
Yeah, losing to like even
The Moon or
blade-wise
something.
Hugs, dude. Yeah, he could or the Moon. Oh yeah.
So, but I will be nice to West Bulls, and I will say that
He's so inconsistent though, Daniel. Right?
I still can't believe that like he called me out. The floaty thing I'll give to him. He's been better against floaties, but I guess I should have reworded that and said like his spacey game is amazing. His floaty game is not as amazing as his spacey and Falcon game. I guess I could have phrased it that way.
All right.
Anyway, is that it?
All right. Do you guys want to put the word out to the people and finally get the history straight about Pound 5, just so we can be done with this?
I have just a few words to say. I just think if you look at the history of Smash tournaments, you can tell when the TOs, are doing their best and they're giving it their all. And what I always tell people when I'm recommending them to go to an out-of-state tournament is, if you go to the tournament, I don't care if it runs a slightly different format or the spectacle is a little bit different, the venue's a little different. If you come away from that tournament knowing and thinking that the organizer did their best to, just gave it their all, went all the way to make sure people had a good experience, I think that is the barometer for whether you should go back or not. So, Pound 5 obviously happened and there was that financial fiasco, but for me, it was always very different between, Plank and Pound 5 versus Apex. Those two things I don't think are very comparable. And for me, I think Pound is just like, it's like one of the most legendary tournament series. It did so much for the Melee scene. It's like the benchmark back in the day. So I'm just really happy it's back, and really happy to support it. And I know that they're paying people back from the Pound 5 fiasco still. So
I think everyone
just
got paid back.
Yeah, they just did that initiative, a couple months ago and got it taken care of. So that's finally like putting a wrap on that chapter of Melee's history, in my opinion. So I'm really glad it's back. I think it's here to stay.
Yeah, and what I've told people, and this is what I believe about Pound 5, is that it was not the kind of systemic failure of organization that you see at other tournaments.
Yep.
This was somebody who had, 9 out of 10 puzzle pieces together, but the one puzzle piece that was out of place was like, it was a big one.
Yeah.
And it was at a time when there was like no help for financial stuff for smashers, for TOs. You were just winging it, and you were basing it on what some TO who ran a tournament with 80 people, a couple months ago said about their finances. There's just not a lot of information out there. And Plank made we can't shy away from it. He made a very bad financial decision, which was just about his contract with the hotel. Everything else about Pound 5 was great. I think anybody who attended that tournament can tell you that. And so I think even though in a very significant sense, Pound 5 failed to do what it was supposed to do, you have to look at what the failure was in order to project what's going to happen with the next iteration of Pound. And I think that, Plank is a very capable guy, and he's got a very good team with him. Dude, one of the architects of kind of salvaging Apex in 2015, and a very dedicated and honest guy is with them too. And I can't see anything but success for this.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed. And I also think Sheridan thinks so highly of Pound 5 because he destroyed Over Triforce. So we might have to take his opinion for take this with a grain of salt.
Okay, here's another interesting. So that last pool I was in, I went 2-1 against Lovage. If I had beaten Lovage, I would have gone into a 3-way tie that I had the tiebreaker on, or would have had the tiebreaker on, except there's something about Mewtwo King like purposely sandbagging and losing to somebody that would have given them the tiebreaker in that instead. Whereas if Mewtwo King had like normally won, I would have had the tiebreaker. So yeah, it's dumb when people sandbag.
Dude, he used to do that
He did that
every
a lot.
time.
Yeah.
This is part of the reason we moved away from round robin pools. That's the one flaw.
Because Anchi gets towards the end.
Bad.
Yeah, there's too much kind of Kingmaker stuff in there. Although, I mean, I still it's not that much of a problem. It's only a few certain bad actors.
Mewtwo King was... I mean, he got the red card back in the day because he did it too much.
Red card.
Oh, I remember that. No, but that wasn't for fooling around in pools. That was like actually agreeing to split like in top.
That was MLG, right?
But he also did that at Genesis too. Remember, he like sandbagged so a girl could move on in Brawl.
Oh, I think I remember hearing about this.
Like, so that's like, because like a red card occurs multiple occurrences. There's like that yellow card he got for Genesis too.
I love Brawl community red cards.
Little history, but we reasoned with him, and I think initially he was convinced because like just to not put shade on Mewtwo King, like everybody split or did something like that. Like MDVA, their top 5 would like split every tournament.
The worst.
So it was, if you go back to the culture, like Mewtwo King, still being like a top player later on, still had the power and ability to do that things, whereas like everyone else kind of retired.
Yeah.
From that.
Actually, like part of that was actually part of why MIOM got started was.
Oh yeah.
This splitting stuff and We were just like
Round
really upset with
5.
the culture of of that
Mhm.
stuff.
All right, I think we're just about done here. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will hopefully see you at Pound. If you guys are going, come say hi.
I'll be there.
We'll chat. Daniel, next major, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to Smash Summit too, so I'll see you guys
Okay.
there. Well, I
Cool.
won't see you guys there because it's invite only.
Yeah, not
Sorry.
me. I just barely didn't make the cut, guys. No.
Same.
All right.
All right. Talk
See
to
you
you
guys
guys
later.
later.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.